All right, trigonometric values of quadrantal angles. This is today's topic. So what is a quadrantal angle? Let me just start with the definition of quadrantal angle. A quadrantal angle, you know that our terminal side, our initial side is always the positive part of x-axis, right? This is our initial side. If the terminal side is on the x-axis or on the y-axis, and then we get a quadrantal angle. For example, if our terminal side is on the positive part of x-axis, so you see we have initial side and terminal side on the positive part of x-axis, so we got this intersection point, so we get 0 degrees. Okay, so we are going to find the sine of 0 degrees in this lesson, cosine of 0 degrees, tangent of 0 degrees, and cotangent of 0 degrees. Cotangent of 0 degrees. Okay, 0 degrees, and it is also 0 radians. If our terminal side is on the positive part of y-axis, this is, let's say, the terminal side, so we get this intersection point. It represents 90 degrees and also pi over 2 radians. So we are going to find sine of 90 degrees and sine of pi over 2 radians. They are the same. If our terminal side is on the negative part of x-axis, so if this is our terminal side, then we get this angle. I mean this point, this intersection point. So it represents 180 degrees and pi radians, right? And then we are going to have this on the negative part of y-axis. We are going to get this point. It is 270 degrees or 3 pi over 2 radians. And then we can come back to this point, and then we get 360 degrees or 0 radians and 2 pi radians. Okay, 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. All right, now let's find the trigonometric values of these functions. Okay, so what are the coordinates of this point? X coordinate, because the radius is 1, this is a unit circle, and the radius is 1. If the radius is 1, so the x coordinate is going to be 1, and y coordinate is going to be 0. Okay? So we learned that the x-axis is always the cosine value of this angle, and the y-axis, y coordinate is the sine value. So this is going to be cosine of 0 degrees, and this is going to be sine of 0 degrees. We start with 0. Okay, what is cosine of 0 then? What is sine of 0? It is 0. What is cosine of 0? It is 1. So what is tangent? Tangent is sine over cosine, always. So what is 0 over 1? 0 over 1 is 0. What is cotangent? Cotangent is always cosine over sine. So cotangent is going to be, cosine is 1, sine is 0. 1 over 0 is going to be equal to undefined.
0.
Yes, cotangent of 0 degrees will be undefined. Tangent of 0 degrees is 0. Cosine of 0 degrees is 1. Sine of 0 degrees is 0. Let's look at this 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So what are the coordinates of this point? The coordinates, x coordinate is 0. Y coordinate is 1. Okay? All right. So the x coordinate is always the cosine value of this angle, this value, and the y coordinate is always the sine value. So 0 is going to be the cosine of what? 90 degrees. And 1 is going to be sine of 90 degrees. That's right. Sine of pi over 2 or sine of 90 degrees is going to be 1 cosine of 90 or cosine of pi over t is going to be 0. The tangent of 90 degrees is equal to sine of 90 degrees over cosine of 90 degrees, which is 1 over 0. What is 1 over 0? It is undefined. And what is cotangent? Cotangent is cosine over sine. What is 0 over 1? 0 over 1 is 0. If you have a question so far, please ask your questions. We can continue with 180 degrees or pi radians. So let's start with the coordinates of this point. That's right, the coordinates. The x coordinate is -1 and the y coordinate is 0. So what is the x coordinate? X coordinate is, I'm sorry, yes, x coordinate of this point is going to be cosine of this angle. Cosine of 180 degrees. And what is the y coordinate of this point? It is going to be sine of 180 degrees. Sine of 180 degrees. So let's write these values. Sine of 180 degrees is equal to 0. Cosine of 180 degrees is equal to -1, or sine of pi is 0, cosine of pi is -1. And then, what are the coordinates of this point? The x coordinate. Can you tell me what the x coordinate of this? There are two coordinates.
0.
0.
0 and -1.
All right, thank you very much. So, the x coordinate is the cosine value, right? Cosine of 270 degrees, or 3 pi over 2. And the sine of 270 is going to be -1. So let's write cosine of, or let's start with 270. Let's write 270 first. 270 degrees, and we have 360 degrees. 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. Okay, sine of 270 degrees is -1, as you see. Cosine of 270 degrees is 0. Tangent is always sine over cosine. I'm sorry. Let's do this one as well, because I forgot this. Tangent of 180 degrees, what's it? 0 over -1, which is 0. And cotangent of 180 degrees, -1 over 0, because cosine over sine, which is undefined. Let's do this value. Tangent of 270 will be sine over cosine. Sine of 270 over cosine of 270. -1 over 0 is undefined. And cotangent of 270 is going to be cosine over sine, 0 over -1, which is 0. And the last one, 360 degrees. 360 degrees, this point has the same value as 0, 0, right? So what are the coordinates? 1 and 0. 1 comma 0 is the coordinate. So 1 is cosine of 0 and also cosine of 360. The x coordinate is going to be cosine of 360, and 0 is going to be sine of 360. Cosine of 360 is 1, sine of 360 is 0, tangent is sine over cosine is 0 over 1, which is 0, and cotangent is cosine over sine, 1 over 0 is undefined. All right, so is there any question you want to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a few examples. Without looking at this table, you don't have to memorize the table, okay? We can do these kind of examples. So sine of 90 times cosine of 30 degrees over cosine of 180 degrees. Let's look at this example. So let me draw my x-axis and y-axis, and let me draw my unit circle. I need 90 degrees. So this is going to be 90 degrees, right? So what are the coordinates of this point? 0, 1.
What?
X coordinate is 0 and Y coordinate is 1. So what is the sine of 90? This point, because Y coordinate will be sine of 90, sine of 90 degrees. Sine of 90 degrees is equal to 1. Cosine of 30, we need a special right triangle for this. But let's find another quadrantal angle. Let's find cosine of 180 degrees. So this point is going to be 180 degrees. What are the coordinates of this point? X coordinate is -1 and Y coordinate is 0. -1 comma 0. So for cosine, I need the X coordinate. So this value is going to be, the X coordinate is going to be my cosine, right? Cosine of 180 degrees is going to be the X coordinate. It is -1. All right, so this is 1 and this is -1. Now I need cosine of 30. For cosine of 30, I'm going to draw a right triangle, special right triangle. I will put 90, I'll put 30, and the third one must be 60. It's a special right triangle. Across 90, if we have 2, across 30, we have 1. Across 60, we have to have root 3. So 30 is our angle. So we have to look at the opposite of 30. This is opposite. 2 is hypotenuse because the side opposite to 90 is always hypotenuse. So it is adjacent. So what is cosine? Cosine, Sokatova.
Adjacent over.
Yes, thank you very much.
Adjacent over.
Cosine is, thank you, adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So cosine of 30 degrees is going to be equal to, adjacent is root 3 over hypotenuse is 2, root 3 over 2. So let's continue solving this example. Sine of 90, we have found it. It is 1 times cosine of 30. Cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2 over cosine of 180. Cosine of 180 is -1, yes. So we multiply 1 by root 3 over 2 and we get the same number. When we multiply 1 by any number, we get the same number. Root 3 over 2 over -1. Positive over negative is negative. If you divide a number by 1, you get the same number. Root 3 over 2. Negative root 3 over 2 is going to be our answer. This is the answer. You have a question?
Y adjacent is what? Wait, is root 3 and
Y adjacent is root 3. What is our angle? We have to find 30, right? 30. So we need, this is our angle. We are going to look at the opposite angle, opposite side of 30. This is opposite, you see. It must be opposite. And the hypotenuse is always the side opposite to 90. Across 90, we have this. This is hypotenuse. So this is opposite. This is hypotenuse. The third side must be adjacent. Okay?
okay.
Okay, so another question. All the angles are quadrantal angles, as you see. So I'm going to draw my unit circle. Okay. Let's draw the unit circle. I need 270. So let's go to the 270 degrees. 0, 90, 180, 270. So what are the coordinates of this point? The coordinates are x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is -1. So the y coordinate, the y value is going to be sine of 270. Sine of 270 is going to be the y value. Cosine of 270 is going to be 0. And then we need the 0 degrees. This is the 0 degrees. And what are the coordinates of this? 1, comma 0 is the coordinates. X coordinate, x value is going to be cosine of 0 degrees. So cosine of 0 degrees is going to be the x value. And 180 degrees. What are the coordinates? The coordinates are -1, x coordinate. Yes, -1, comma, 0, right?
0.
So the x coordinate is going to be cosine and y coordinate is going to be sine. So x coordinate is cosine. Cosine of 180 degrees is -1. Sine of 270 is -1. Cosine of 0 is going to be equal to 1. Okay, so sine of 270, -1, minus cosine of 0. Cosine of 0 is 1 over cosine of 180. Cosine of 180 is -1. Is there any mistake? Sine of 270 is -1. Cosine of 0 is 1. That's it. Cosine of 180 is -1. -1 minus 1 is -2 over -1. Minus over minus is plus. 2 over 1 is 2. So our answer is going to be 2, positive 2. Let me do the third question, and then I'm going to give a question for you. Okay, you'll try on your own. You are going to try to send your answer. Tangent of 0. Let's draw our unit circle. This is the unit circle. We need tangent of 0. So this is the 0 degrees. What are the coordinates of this point 0 degrees? 1 comma 0 is the coordinates. So what is tangent of 0? Tangent of 0 is sine of 0 over cosine of 0. Look, we are not looking at the table to solve these questions because you cannot memorize the table. You don't have to memorize the table. So we are doing always this way. Tangent of 0 is sine of 0 degrees over cosine of 0 degrees.
And the sign?
What is sine of 0? It is sine of 0, right?
0.
What is cosine of 0? Cosine of 0 is 1. Sine of 0 is 0. Cosine of 0 is 1. 0 over 1 is 0. Tangent of 0 is going to be equal to 0. So cotangent of 45, we need to draw a special right triangle, but let's find 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. What are the coordinates? X coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is 1. So this is going to be, x coordinate is going to be cosine of 90, and y coordinate is going to be sine of 90 degrees, right? So we need the sine of 90. Sine of 90 is equal to, sine of 90 degrees is equal to 1. Cotangent of 45. So 45, I'm going to draw a right triangle, special right triangle, 45 degrees, 90, and 45 degrees. 1 root 2. So you should remember this. So what is cotangent? Cotangent is adjacent over opposite. Because we know that cotangent is reciprocal of tangent. And what is tangent? SOHCAHTOA. So tangent, TOA. Opposite over adjacent is tangent. If the cotangent is 1 over tangent, it's going to be adjacent over opposite. Cotangent of 45 is going to be equal to, so we have to pick one of the angles. It doesn't matter. Let's pick this. This is going to be opposite. And this across 90, we have always hypotenuse. So what is adjacent? This side will be adjacent. So cotangent of 45 will be adjacent is 1 over opposite is also 1. 1 over 1 is going to be equal to 1. Cotangent of 45 is equal to 1. So tangent of 0 is 0 plus cotangent of 45 is 1 over sine of 90 is equal to 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 over 1 is going to be 1. This is the answer.